Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and I've got a couple of pawn shop treasures I'm going to share with you, but also open up a bigger discussion about maybe the ethics of buying and selling at a pawn shop. That seemed to be a big theme in my previous video. A lot of people commented on what they thought about it being not a good source of tools, maybe because of how they ended up there, but also a great source of tools, maybe, unfortunately, because of how they ended up there. But anyway, the treasures I got today, which tells you I'm still buying at pawn shops. First of all, I picked up one of these, and each one of these has a bit of a story behind it. But I got this, I saw this, and it said 120 bucks, and you almost never see a newer Snap-on ratchet for 120, let alone the brand new, mint condition, locking flex head. And this is the intermediate size. I have had the other two appear on my videos. This was the first one that I got when it first came out. I did a teardown on it. And then I picked up this when I did that Snap-on tool haul. This one I've been wondering about. As I get older, I end up using a little bit longer ratchets. That'll be a video. But anyway, so this one here, I guess, completes my set. Now, I didn't pay 120 for it. I thought maybe I can get it for less. Sometimes at the particular pawn shop I was at, they don't give you much of a discount on any kind of Snap-on tool because they know they'll sell it. And I got the usual, oh yeah, that's a great deal, and we just put it out an hour ago, and you know, you're the first to look at it, so I think we need to be kind of firm. How about 100 bucks? And I had already decided I would have paid him 120 probably. But yeah, 100 was fine. I offered him 90. He said, no, they just couldn't. I said 95, still no. So $100. And this is almost a $200 ratchet. It's 195 bucks right now. And this one looks brand new, which from the pawn shop ethics side makes you wonder, where did it come from? But anyway, we'll get into that in a moment. So the next thing I picked up was this. This is a hose clamp, or I guess a remote hose clamp plier. It is a Matco here, and this is the HCPF 90. Matco sells several of these. This is the best one that they have. I think they sell it for $180 some. It also matches almost perfectly the one Snap-on sells. Their expensive one, and theirs is over $200. It all seems to be, you know, in great shape, working just fine. Oops, I guess you can't see that. So I operated it, looked around, could see, you know, maybe a little toolbox wear. Simple design, looked up. I can order this cable from Snap-on if I need a replacement, but it's like $80. Anyway, they wanted 100 bucks for this. And what was kind of funny here was the guy didn't know what it was. And so he couldn't really give me any song and dance because he couldn't explain whether or not it was an important or a valuable tool. And I knew exactly what it was, and I quickly jumped on my phone and looked up the different ones, and you know, I got the number here and realized, okay, this is the high-end one. Reviews are great, except for somebody who broke their cable, but others have, you know, like the Snap-on. People love these things. There are less expensive ones, but they're all way more than the $50 that I paid. They were asking $100. I ended up getting it for $50. They wanted to sell it for more. To get it to $50, I kind of made a deal with these wrenches here. So that's number 2 or number 3 here. And this is a set of larger Matco ratcheting wrenches. Now the set I have from Snap-on stalls out at 19 millimeter. So here I've got a 21, which I do use, and a 25. There's a 22 and a 24. I thought, how much? Well, here is the actual packaging. One thing is I wanted to go in and see what the actual number is. Matco has a 70, I think it's a 70 tooth and a 90 tooth. The M2 here on the end designates these as the nicer 90 tooth ratcheting wrenches. These are not reversible. You just flip them over because they're in line. It would be nice, but that was a lot more money. Anyway, so they thought that that's what they had. If you look close here, let me tear this, or maybe I can lift it. If you look really close right there, it says there's a retail price of $306.75. Somewhere they got that price. I don't know where, because that's not what I get on the Matco site, but it's close. It is over $300 for this set of wrenches, if they are the 90 tooth. It was also wrapped up, and I thought, well, I can tell that they've been used, but they're in good shape. I look all around. I mean, they're giant wrenches as long as they all smoothly slide. I don't know who originally makes these. Maybe someone out there can share. But for this set of wrenches, I ended up paying about $100. Now, why I say about, because I also got this thing thrown in, whatever a Leatherman sheath is worth. These are like 12 bucks, 13 bucks online, I think. So I guess I got this for under $100, maybe $99, plus $50 for the other, for the hose clamp plier, remote hose clamp tool. Anyway, I would love to have Snap-on in something like this. Again, each one of these sells for, $60 to $70 a piece, off the Matco truck or website. So I thought it was worth $100. See how that goes. So this is where I want to talk about the ethics. I've asked a couple of pawn shops in the past and recently about stolen tools and about the proliferation of Milwaukee and DeWalt tools. Where are they all coming from suddenly? And some of them are actually legit. This one I picked up a while ago. This isn't recent. I can't remember, a month or two ago. I ended up getting this for 50 bucks. I think it appeared in a previous video. Maybe I mentioned it. And that came with a battery. It's not a real good battery. I think it's the 1.5. But hey, a battery's a battery. And I wanted to try this out on other things besides just drywall screws, like fence building through soft pine. But anyway, it's a nice tool. Sells for about 180 bucks online. This one seemed in pretty good condition. So where did this come from? Well, there was somebody who needed to sell off their drywall tool set. And so this was just one of many tools that they sold, but it got kind of high graded and put in the cabinet. And since it's kind of unique, you don't really see these very often, at least in good condition. I was kind of curious about it. Ended up picking it up for, like I said, 50 bucks. And what I was thinking is I'd give maybe, if I saw this battery, I'd easily give $10 if it was sitting there and I, could test it and it was holding a charge. As you can see, this one is, and the contacts look good and the base isn't all mashed up. So I thought that puts this thing at about 40 bucks. I can play with it and sell it if I want. So this was legit, but one of the things that I was told was DeWalt and Milwaukee, yes, there are a lot of hot things. They're taken from the big boxes or stolen out of vehicles or whatever. But one of the things was that the police, at least according to the pawn shop owner I was talking to, did not seem to care, which I found kind of interesting. And what it was is that it's not serialized tight enough for them to be able to directly attach it to maybe a potential thief. Now, there are serial numbers on these things, but when we talked about the DeWalt's, the pawn shop person I talked to said that DeWalt actually reuses serial numbers across, I think he said four different quadrants of the United States. So they can't guarantee, like in a court of law, that somebody couldn't have the same serial number on another tool. I guess OJ DNA stuff. But anyway, the other thing was that after a handful of new box Milwaukee's and DeWalt's came in to his store, he said that he called the big boxes and said, hey, these are coming in. I don't know if they were stolen from your store. How do you want to handle this? And the stores actually said, we don't care. There's nothing we can do. We're going to write it off if it's, shrinkage or stolen, and that's that. And so he's like, well, if nobody else cares, the police don't seem to care. The stores that they may have come from don't seem to care. Why should he care? And one of the tactics he says that he uses, though, is if somebody comes in with there's a real poor matchup between what they're trying to sell and who they appear to be, regardless if they have ID or a sob story or whatever, is he offers them excruciatingly little money. And he, like, I give you $3 for this. And of course they're like, no way, it's worth way more. You know, I bought it new for, I don't know, however much these are. And the reason he does that is because if he can get it for $3, it isn't to make a big profit. It's to just set it behind the counter and wait. Now, technically, pawn shops are supposed to wait. They're also supposed to disclose to, I guess, the local law enforcement or the local area, or maybe it's statewide, what's being bought, if it's a serialized or a very specific product. And he said that he'll do that. But what he's counting on is maybe somebody comes in, and this does happen, I guess, with a lot with bicycles or very certain other things that get, stolen and turned over a lot. Is that people will call and say, hey, I just had my, truck broken in and somebody got my Milwaukee, screw shooter. Have you guys gotten anyone? And this guy will say, yeah, we just got one in, and this is what it looks like. And the guy says, that's it. Can I buy it from you? And he goes, look, just take it. We got it for a couple of bucks from the guy. So he's hoping to return it. But that's one pawn shop. Others, not so much. There are some that just try to turn these things over as fast as possible. They know that there is a fine line, but they, between being able to prove it's stolen, caring if it's stolen, maybe even, trying to quickly turn it over so they don't even have to think about it. I don't know. But I know there are some like that, and that was also confirmed when I was talking to another pawn shop, and it was like, hey, this is how the world works. Don't worry about it. Just somebody sells something, we buy it, we sell it. That's how life goes. I can't guarantee anything. You can't guarantee, why are we talking about this? And I thought, okay, I get it. But anyway, that's one of the areas. I'm going to probably do more with pawn shops or secondhand, but I want to carry this conversation further. So in the comments, if you've got other thoughts besides just calling names and saying people are foolish or smart or whatever for either shopping or staying away from these secondhand markets. I haven't gotten into Craigslist or Facebook with this. This is just pawn shops at the moment. However, it is interesting to, I guess, to kind of consider the implications of the secondary tool market. Where would these come from? These probably came from a mechanic. There's a lot of stuff, and you kind of see themes. Like I did see a big toolbox. I saw a bunch of Matco tools. I think somebody retired. This might be the stuff that they couldn't as easily sell, or maybe they thought it was the high value stuff, or maybe their kid didn't want it because, like, what am I going to do with these giant wrenches? I don't know. But you start to see a theme, and perhaps that made sense. I did see a bunch of Matco stuff. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, and I will continue this discussion. And with that, Doc out.